Good morning and welcome back. This is World Talks. Milorad Dodik, the President of Republica Srpska in Bosnia, is on trial. He has been accused of violating the terms of the Dayton Agreement. The famous peace deal sought to defuse an ethnic conflict which ravaged the Western Balkans during the 1990s. Now, President Dodik's trial has sparked fears that tensions between Serbs and Bosniaks could reignite. To discuss, I have Marta Szpala, Senior Fellow at the Central European Department Center for Eastern Studies, with me here in the studio. Good morning, delighted to have you with us.
Good morning, it's a pleasure to have you.
So let's unpack this whole situation, right? Because what Dodik did, he indeed sort of violated two laws, right? Pushed through two laws that were previously annulled by Christian Schmidt, who is a High Representative for Bosnia since August of 2021. And on numerous occasions, right, Dodik has done various things to undermine his Schmidt's authority. So what were these laws and what are we dealing with?
This is the constant, I would say, strategy of Milorad Dodik. Milorad Dodik is political leader of Serbs in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and as you said, the country was somehow divided according to the Dayton Agreement, which was set up in 1995 after the war in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And the idea was to give the Serbs in Bosnia some kind of autonomy. But Dodik, he's in power in Republika Srpska since 2006. His idea is actually to separate the Republika Srpska. And for quite a long, he was openly advocating for separation and independence of Republika Srpska. But I would say that 5 years ago, he changed the strategy, because, you know, all this reference to separation, to independence, always creates harsh reaction from the Western community and US. Now his strategy is different. It's rather to undermine central institutions, so undermine not the central state by doing some stuff, and these laws are also about that. So actually what he wanted to achieve is to stop prosecution, judiciary to work in Republika Srpska, because also this government is quite authoritarian but full of clientelism, nepotism. So some, like the Dodik, he is now under the sanction of US because of the corruption. So the idea is actually to stop central judiciary to act on the territory of Republika Srpska to, you know, gain for its own personal purpose some kind of impunity. So this is the reason. And actually to make Republika Srpska not officially independent, but actually practically independent, because he would like to block central institutions to work in Republika Srpska, and this is the conflict. The conflict is actually about that, to have de facto independence, not, you know, officially, but, you know, just that he will be governing the Republika Srpska on his own, and Sarajevo, the capital city of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and its institution could not act on the territory of Republika Srpska.
Right, so what does it say about the central Bosnian authorities? What about, you know, sort of their strength or the lack of thereof? And of course, we have to keep in mind that Bosnia is on its path to the EU, right? It was granted candidate status in 2022, so...
Yeah, actually the thing is that, you know, the central, like the level of autonomy of Republika Srpska was always quite strong. So they have they can decide on the education, health, taxes, a lot of stuff. And the central institutions are weak because of the Dayton Agreement. That was the idea, that to have this country together after the war, it's to give the autonomy to not only to the Serbs but also to Bosniaks and Croats. And central institutions, I would say, they are always counting on the internationals to support unity of the state. So it was West, US, and as you said, the High Representative, now Christian Schmidt, who has very big powers to impose any laws in Republika Srpska, also to in whole Bosnia, to dismiss the officials who are actually working against the unity of the state. But I would say that the problem is now, and this is what is also happening now in Bosnia, that Milorad Dodik really counts on change of the government and the policy of US. Because as I said, during the Joe Biden administration, we have like a lot of sanction against the Dodik. He has now big problems with that. He can have bank account, his all these business companies and the companies connected to his family are now under the sanction. So he really hoped that Donald Trump, who is first of all not so keen on democratic transformation, he will revoke the sanction. And actually Donald Trump has really good relation with Serbia, and actually he will allowed Serbs in Republika Srpska to be independent somehow. So this is what Dodik is counting on. That's why this trial, it's also something which he used to mobilize his supporters against the central government.
Right, and to tell me, what is the influence of Russia on Republika Srpska and also of Serbia, right? Because you've already hinted at that.
Yeah, of course, it is the constant strategy of Russia in the Western Balkans to increase the tension in the region, also to diffuse attention of EU and US from Ukraine. We have this kind of very dangerous moment in 2022, in February, when Russia attacked Ukraine, that, you know, its second front, we call it, could be open on the Balkans, that these leaders who, I wouldn't say that they are really cooperating with Russia, or the Russia can force them to do so, but actually it is in their interest to support Russia policy and, you know, to, with Russia support, change the borders in the Western Balkans, and also, as I said, you know, to have more independence and create, you know, to redraw the map of the region. And also now, when we see that, like what is happening in Ukraine, Dodik is also hoping that, because all of us, our attention is now on Ukraine, he can, you know, under the radar, change something in the Western Balkans. And as I said, for Russia, it was always in their interest to have weak states in the Western Balkans, to have tensions in the Western Balkans, because we have also military engagement in the region. Because of this risk which I described when Ukraine was attacked, also EU was forced to increase the number of military personnel on the ground on Bosnia, because they are afraid that something will happen. They also increased the number of soldiers in Kosovo was also increased. So somehow, you know, Russia is counting on, you know, this kind of deal that, okay, we will not inspire any tension in the Western Balkans, and you have to leave Ukraine for us, you know. So this is this kind of policy Russia has towards the West.
Right, and I mean, we'll know the verdict on Wednesday, February 26th. And so if you know, they find him guilty, what could happen? Because, you know, everyone is afraid that these ethnic tensions could be reignited.
Okay, yeah, so this is important also to underline that now Dodik, like, we will see what the verdict will be, but there are the speculation that he will be banned from public life, and also he will be put in jail. So I would say that a lot of would depend on the U.S. policy towards Bosnia, and, you know, what Donald Trump will do, if he will support, or his administration rather would support judiciary in Bosnia, or he would do nothing, for example. And Dodik could really spark the tension in Republika Srpska to present himself as the victim of internationals, as the victim of judiciary in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And it could be a very risky moment, because, as I said, we are now, everybody are looking on Ukraine. So, you know, he can really make this de facto independence, because he will block police, judiciary, to actually impose the verdict, and he will officially be sentenced to, but, you know, the judiciary of Bosnia and Herzegovina would not be able to impose this verdict on the ground.
And how likely is it that he'll be found guilty?
I think, you know, it's like actually this is like he was found guilty, you know, in the previous trial. So I think a lot of would depends what the punishment would be. If really judges in Bosnia and Herzegovina will risk somehow, this is also some kind of risk to put this very harsh punishment on Dodik. And I would say this would also depend on international, as you mentioned, Christian Schmidt. He is the German politician connected with CDUs. He is from this party. So I would say that this is somehow favorable moment for Dodik, because we have election in Germany. We don't have the government. So I would say that, you know, this is the time for West to react. Also EU and US, but everybody are somehow engaged in the different areas. So Dodik could think that, you know, he can do everything, you know, below the radar and make this Republika Srpska de facto independent.
Right, and let's go back to Serbia, because, I mean, on the website of the Serbian government, you can find this sentence: Serbia is ready to work together with Republika Srpska to preserve national identity. So, of course, there's a lot of talk about these ties. And so my question is, you know, given what's happening in Serbia, how is that influencing Republika Srpska?
I would say that Dodik has also two, like, second ally. It is Hungary. You mentioned Hungary before in the previous material. So Hungary is also supporting Dodik in this process of challenging the judiciary of Bosnia. The problem of Serbia is that we have like very big protests in Serbia. Right. So government of Serbia is in very weak position right now to support Dodik, because actually we see that people of Serbia are engaged the government. So he's supported now by the West. So I think he will be very cautious to openly support Dodik, because any, you know, very like open support for what Dodik is doing in Bosnia would also make his relation with the EU allies tougher.
So it would not be in Vucic's interest, right, to support Dodik at the moment?
Yeah, I think not.
Marta Szpala, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Much appreciated. And thank you for watching World Talks. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World. News Bulletin coming right up.